Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411, Lucky and Liz part 23 and Lucky part 31. We are really going to have to figure this out when it comes time to do Liz's. How to piece all this together, I don't know.
Oh, man.
But for now, where we left off on last week's episode was Luke and Laura were renewing their vows, and this was for their 25th wedding anniversary. And Maxie was kind of inserting herself where she didn't belong. And Lucky and Liz were trying to
It's just so ridiculous. Yes. It's just like, okay, I understand wanting to be with a guy and I understand being young and dumb. But at their mom and dad's wedding or vow renewal or whatever the heck it was supposed to be, like, really? Come on.
Right.
Ridiculous.
All right, so we're picking back up at the wedding, and Maxie has made a bold move by inserting herself into a family photo. This is also giving a little bit of a summary, shocking Laura and Elizabeth. After the picture, Liz walked off, clearly upset, and Lucky followed her, leaving Maxie alone and visibly displeased. Later, Lucky apologized to Liz for Maxie's intrusion, unaware that she would crash the wedding. Liz chose not to dwell on it, and they shared a dance instead. That night, Liz collapsed at the reception, and although she claimed it was due to stress, it hinted at something deeper. Later, Liz was seen lighting a candle and praying for Jason at the church, only to find him gravely wounded and barely conscious. She pleaded with him to stay alive for the baby, which she revealed was his and not Lucky's. That's right. That's what we left off on was,
yes,
Jason is the father. Jason refused hospital care, so Liz took him to her old art studio. There, Sonny joined them, and under pressure, Liz performed emergency surgery to remove a bullet from Jason's leg, who stayed by his side to care for him. Meanwhile, Carly was furious to learn that Liz was the one tending to Jason and confronted both of them. I'm sorry. I don't care if I like you or not. If you are saving my friend's life, thankful for you.
Right? Absolutely.
Liz left reluctantly, and Carly warned Jason not to get involved with Liz, fearing it would lead to heartbreak. Liz later encountered...
That was not her concern.
No, it wasn't.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that was not her concern. She just wanted Jason all to herself.
Some things never change.
Right.
Liz later encountered Rick and Lucky at Lucky's, where Rick noticed blood on her dress. She claimed it was a wine stain. Lucky shared that Laura's health was declining. At the Spencer house, Liz quietly told Emily that Jason was alive. Why would you quietly mention? It'd be like, hey, by the way, your brother's alive.
Right.
Laura had a brief moment of lucidity, embracing Christmas with her family before her memory slipped again. Aware that she was regressing, Laura decided to admit herself back to Shadybrook to maintain some control over her fate. She said personal goodbyes to each of her children, telling Lucky she still believed he and Liz might find their way back to each other. After Laura returned to Shadybrook, Nicholas informed the Quartermains of her condition, and they soon received a call from Jason confirming that he was alive. Lucky told Liz the news, and she invited him to spend Thanksgiving with her and Cameron. Oh, that's right. They did an early Christmas.
Right.
I'm like, why did we go from Christmas to Thanksgiving? Because they knew that Laura was going back. As the fallout continued, Rick reinstated Lucky to the police force and immediately assigned him to capture Jason, dead or alive. Rick then visited Liz under the guise of concern and hinted at Lucky's new assignment. Liz rushed to warn Jason, realizing Rick's scheme pit Jason and Lucky against each other, leaving Rick to step in as Liz's savior. When Lucky showed up at the studio, Jason hid. Lucky confided that bringing Jason in was his first assignment and asked Liz if she knew where he was, and she lied. Jason questioned Liz about withholding the truth from Lucky. Liz confessed she didn't want to burden Lucky with the knowledge that could push him towards addiction. Jason believed honesty might give them a second chance, but Liz wasn't sure that she wanted that. Just then, Stan arrived with a lead on Spinelli who could help clear Sam's name. I forget why we were concerned with Sam. Jason, still weak, insisted on going after him despite Liz's protests. Maxie, meanwhile, continued her manipulation. She pretended to be pregnant with Lucky's child and cornered him at the police station, pushing for a future with him. Liz walked in on the conversation and was clearly unimpressed. Later, she gave Sam a phone so she could contact Jason. Sam called and told Jason she loved him, and Jason said it back. As Jason risked his health chasing Spinelli, Liz remained torn between loyalty to Lucky and her growing bond with Jason. I think this was when we got Spinelli.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder, like, why we're chasing him, though. Like, where... I can't remember how he came about.
At the same time, Laura's declining condition left the Spencer family in mourning, especially Luke, who spiraled into grief. Lulu discovered Luke never divorced Tracy and confronted him, but ultimately forgave him in honor of Laura's memory. Despite all the emotional entanglements, Liz continued to care for Jason, who reminded her of the danger she was putting herself in. Cameron, who reminded her of the danger she was putting herself, Cameron, and the baby in. Liz insisted she was acting out of love and loyalty, and that helping Jason was something she had to do regardless of the cost. Robin is racked with guilt for giving the Spencer family false hope about Laura's recovery, which she knows now was only temporary. When Lucky finds her in the locker room, she apologizes, but he assured her that he is grateful for the time that he had with his mother. Patrick overhears and later comforts Robin, encouraging her to stop blaming herself, and Lucky also questions Robin about Jason's whereabouts, believing that Jason may have come to her for help after being shot. Robin denies seeing him, but promises to contact the police if she does. At the hospital, Maxie catches Lucky briefly and pushes him to talk about their baby, but he coldly brushes her off. Unbeknownst to Lucky, Maxie is pretending to be pregnant to trap him. As Sonny distracts Alcazar, Stan plants surveillance devices and overhears plans to kill Lulu and Spinelli. All right, so a lot of this, it's like anything else. Sometimes there's going to be choppy sections because we didn't dive too far off storyline, but certain people are important in this storyline. And Spinelli's kind of one of them because, like we just said, this is kind of when we first got Spinelli, and a good part of him has a lot to do with Jason. Now we know they're
Right.
like, but anyway, Peter Marquez, like, I have no idea who this guy is, tells Sonny, no clue, about this textbook that he had given Lulu containing a hidden message from Spinelli. No idea what that means. Sonny realizes that Lulu is the girl with Spinelli. Meanwhile, Liz tries to distract Jason with a travel book, but he leaves to persuade. Whoa, can I talk? Meanwhile, Liz tries to distract Jason with the travel book, but he leads to pursue a lead. Jason finds Lulu and Spinelli, but Lulu mistakenly knocks him out, thinking he's one of Alcazar's men. As Jason comes to, Spinelli grabs his gun and flees, leaving Jason and Lulu at gunpoint once again. Later, Sam sneaks into Liz's studio in hospital scrubs, hoping to find Jason. Liz tells her he's gone after Spinelli. Tension flares between the two women as Sam accuses Liz of wanting to be part of Jason's life despite being pregnant by Lucky. Liz fires back, calling Sam selfish and blaming her for putting Jason in danger once again. Elsewhere, Skye begs Sonny to stop his war with Alcazar, but Sonny accuses her of betraying them by revealing Jason was alive. He warns her that Alcazar would sacrifice anyone, including Diego, for his own gain. Their argument was interrupted when Liz calls to report Jason as missing after chasing a lead near Warehouse 22. After hanging up with Sonny, Liz stops Sam from leaving, warning her not to go after Jason because Rick is using her to track him. Sam refuses, determined to help Jason, but Liz insists Rick is tailing her, even in stolen scrubs. Oh my gosh, Rick can see through that disguise? What? Sam brushes it off, claiming she can dodge a tail. As she opens the door, Lucky arrives, surprising them both. He tells Sam that he is there to see Liz, not following her. Curious about Sam's disguise, she admits it was to avoid being followed to Jason. Turning to Liz, Sam accuses her of hiding Jason, convinced he's alive, and came to her for help. She pleads with Liz to admit it, even in front of Lucky. Lucky defends Liz, saying she wouldn't risk their child for Jason. Sam apologizes and leaves. Then Lucky admits to Liz he was following Sam. They talk about his mother, and he asks if they have a daughter someday, they could name her Laura.
Aww.
Yeah.
Later, Liz and Lucky run into each other at Kelly's. While chatting, Maxie interrupts, asking Lucky to complete some forms. When he says he's on duty, she warns Liz not to monopolize his time. Georgie defends Liz, and Maxie accuses everyone of pushing Dylan and Lulu together. Dylan arrives and denies it. At the hospital, Emily notices Liz's sadness and invites her and Cameron to decorate the tree at Windermere, warning Lucky will be there. Liz declines, but later surprises everyone by showing up. She watches warmly as Lucky bonds with Cameron. Maxie visits Kelly's and tries to go to Lucky's room. Georgie stops her, pointing out that he's still married. Maxie insists she hasn't given up on a future with him, and she feels she was mistreated at Luke and Laura's wedding. She thought Lucky would introduce her to Laura and announce her pregnancy. Georgie urges her to focus on work instead of chasing Lucky. Maxie defends her actions, saying love for her unborn child is more important than a job. As Liz prepares to leave Windermere, Lucky stops her under the mistletoe. He leans in for a kiss, but she pulls back. Realizing it's too soon, he apologizes. Liz smiles but says she has to get to work. At the hospital, Epiphany tells her she's not needed and suggests she spends time with Cameron. Emily overhears Liz lie about her shift and confronts her. Liz admits she was scared when Lucky tried to kiss her. She hadn't forgiven him for cheating with Maxie and getting her pregnant. She also fears he might relapse if stressed. Emily relates, sharing how she and Nicholas rebuilt trust. Meanwhile, Lucky discloses the same doubts with Nicholas. Liz can't really be upset that Lucky got Maxie pregnant, though. Like, I know that he didn't really, but even if he would have, it was because everyone was using the faulty condoms. Like, the problem is that he hooked up with someone, so that could result in a pregnancy. You don't really control getting someone pregnant or not if you were trying not to get them pregnant and it didn't work.
Right. It's not like he intentionally wanted to start a new family with Maxie.
Right. And like you're pregnant by some other dude for the exact same reason. Like, come on. Anyway, later Liz's car won't start. She calls someone. Lucky arrives and gets it running. She thanks him. He says it's no trouble. Back at Windermere, Colleen tells Nicholas and Emily she's resigning earlier than planned. I don't remember who Colleen was. At GH, Maxie
I don't either.
Okay, Maxie sees Lucky and is thrilled he's there until he says he came for Liz. Maxie insults Liz and storms off. Lucky apologizes, but Liz says Maxie's choices are her own. She praises Lucky for turning his life around. Rick interrupts and asks Lucky to surveil Alcazar's house, which he agrees to. Rick later apologizes to Liz and offers support, hoping that she'll accept his help. Rick then goes to confession, admitting that he's sinned, but he wants to be a better man for his daughter, ideally with Liz by his side. Lucky finds out from Dr. Lee that Maxie is no longer her patient. Confronting Maxie, she claims she switched doctors because Liz's OB would be biased. Maxie continues pressing Lucky about his feelings and their baby. He insists he'll be a good father. Later, Maxie watches as Kelly gives another patient's ultrasound to a nurse. At Kelly's, Georgie meets her professor, who invites her to help him with his book, unpaid. She accepts. She later vents to Maxie about Dylan's business ambitions. Maxie tries to go to Lucky's room, claiming she wants to leave him an ultrasound copy. Georgie reminds her that Lucky used her for pills and won't come back. Maxie insists her love is real, even if it looks desperate. On the dock, Spinelli worries about his grandmother's safety. Jason assures him she's protected. Lucky and Rodriguez arrive and arrest them. At the station, Rodriguez warns Jason to stay away from Liz, noting that if Lucky finds out about Jason and Liz's past night together, it could trigger a relapse. When Lucky hears Liz's name mentioned, he questions them but gets distracted before getting answers. Jason later visits Sonny and warns him that Rick is dangerous after being humiliated in court. Meanwhile, Rick tells Lucky to find evidence Jason stole the flash drive. Oh, where's JD?
He's at work, sorry.
Lucky hesitates, lacking probable cause, but Rick reminds him he owes him for reinstating his job. Rick hints Liz is the reason Lucky is reluctant. Rick pressures Lucky again, threatening to take his badge unless he brings Jason down. Lucky meets Maxie at Kelly's to discuss the baby and suggests adoption. Maxie lashes out, asking if he'd give up Liz's baby too. Jason tells Sam and Alexis the charges were dropped. Sam decides to keep Alexis as her attorney. Back at the penthouse, Sam and Jason reconcile and try to move forward. She even wants to try for a baby that night. Alexis confronts Rick, accusing him of setting up Sam and Jason. She warns him he could end up in jail. Jason later visits Liz at GH, asking if she thinks he'd be a good father. Liz says yes, a child would be lucky to have him. After he leaves, Liz, visibly shaken, rushes to the PCPD. Looking for a notepad, she finds a Ziploc bag of pills hidden in Lucky's desk. Despite everything, Lucky agrees to be involved in Maxie's pregnancy and promises to be a good father, but firmly tells her that they will never be a couple because he loves Liz. Lucky insists. Oh, for the pills. Lucky insists he's been framed when Rick and Elizabeth find a bag of pills in his desk at the police station. He denies relapsing and swears to both of them that he's clean. Liz, emotionally exhausted and no longer able to trust him, walks out. Determined to clear his name, Lucky takes a drug test, which comes back negative. Max, suspicious, questions Maxie about possibly supplying Lucky with drugs again, but she denies involvement. Lucky and Max decide to speak with the desk clerk on duty to determine if anyone tampered with his desk. Back at the hospital, Rick finds Liz trying to bury herself in work and attempts to comfort her. She rejects his concern, needing space. Epiphany also offers support, but Liz shuts down. Lucky arrives to show her the clean drug test, but Liz remains unmoved. She tells him it only proves he hasn't used today and reminds him that one pill could send him spiraling again. She demands that he stay away from her and the children. Lucky pushes back, vowing he won't be cut out of his kids' lives. Meanwhile, Rick goes to confession, justifying to the priest, who appears to be Manny Ruiz, oh, that was such a good storyline, that planning the pills was a way to give Liz the freedom to walk away. The priest warns him that hurting someone is never justified. Well, I'm glad that Manny was at least being a good priest, if that was him, not his brother. Lulu, at Lucky's urging, tries to speak to Liz on his behalf. Liz rebukes her, frustrated that Lucky is using his sister as a go-between. Liz declares their marriage is over. Lucky begins to suspect Maxie planted the pills, but Liz no longer cares who did it. At Kelly's, Mike notices Maxie craving spicy mustard, which seems odd given her supposed pregnancy. Lucky arrives and accuses her outright of framing him. Maxie denies it passionately and then suddenly tumbles down the stairs in front of witnesses.
At the hospital, Maxie is admitted. When the doctor leaves the room to get an ultrasound, Maxie quickly hides her fake pregnancy belly. With no heartbeat detected, the doctors assume she's miscarried. I'm assuming she was not taken in by an ambulance.
I would guess not.
Because I feel...
Yeah, they'd start listening. I could be wrong. No, they'd start listening for that now.
Yeah, but even just buckling her in, they would have noticed foam versus flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Anyway, when the doctor leaves the room to get the ultrasound, blah, 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 with no heartbeat detected, the doctor assumes she's miscarried. Okay, I'm just having so many... She must have had a really small pregnancy belly on for them to not question, where'd your belly go?
Yeah, I mean, she would have still been early then, right? Like,
yeah,
like less than 3 months.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Sorry, I'm just reading this now. I'm trying to think also, what are our listeners going to be thinking? Like, wait a second.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was still a small. Like the 3-month one, so maybe if she like puffed her belly out, like the difference between your stomach when you're hungry and a food baby,
Right. But do you have a food baby in your 20s?
No, probably not.
No. Youth. So the doctor suggested a pelvic exam, but Maxie avoids it, claiming trauma. Lucky, concerned, tries to explain to Liz that Maxie's fall was an accident. He swears he hasn't used drugs since rehab. The doctor informs Lucky of the, quote, loss, and when he sees Maxie, she manipulates the moment, telling him he never wanted the baby, but she truly did. She fell for him after Jesse's death and envisioned a family. Lucky is racked with guilt and promises to be there for her. Lulu tells Liz how worried she is about her brother, and Rick, overhearing this, starts plotting new ways to further dismantle Lucky's life. Jason is questioned by the police about the pills found in Lucky's desk. He realizes Rick might be the real culprit and later tells Liz his suspicions. At the hospital, Liz vents to Audrey about her failure to find Cameron a popular Christmas toy. Jason later surprises her by tracking it down, deeply moving her. Meanwhile, at the hospital Christmas party, tensions simmer. Lucky asks Liz to attend, but she declines. Maxie insists on wearing her elf costume despite her, quote, miscarriage. Georgie is upset to find Dylan with his pants down as Lulu adjusts his Santa costume. Blah, 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 blah. And Jason and Liz share a quiet, emotional hug on the docks. Maxie persuades Lucky to walk over to Kelly's to find closure. They arrive hand in hand, and Liz, already inside, is stunned. She offers her condolences and quickly leaves. Later, she admits to Audrey she almost invited Lucky over for Christmas Eve, but changed her mind after seeing him with Maxie. If you want closure, you don't walk to talk about closure hand in hand.
No.
First step to closure, don't hold hands.
Wow, you should write a book.
End of closure with a hug. And bye.
Exactly.
No kisses. Shannon's Guide to Closure. At Kelly's, Lucky and Liz briefly reconnect before Maxie interrupts and embraces Lucky, which Liz watches through the window. At the hospital, Maxie confesses to Georgie that she never wanted to hurt her or Mac. She encourages Georgie to take a chance on a romantic relationship with her professor. Epiphany watches the sisters fooling around and pointedly asks Maxie if she was ever pregnant, enough to pique Liz's suspicions. Sam applies for a clerical job at General Hospital, but is shut down due to her legal history. When she threatens a discrimination suit, they have a right to not hire someone that has a criminal background.
Right.
Alan Quatermain steps in and hires her, grateful she once saved Jason's life. Liz is uneasy when she overhears Jason asking Dr. Lee how soon a woman can safely conceive after a miscarriage. Dr. Lee says Sam could try again by next year. Liz smiles to cover her discomfort. Later, Liz assists a pregnant woman in labor who confesses she lied about the baby's paternity. When the newborn needs a transfusion, Liz reveals the father is actually the woman's husband's best friend. Ooh. Meanwhile, Lucky closes Kelly's alone on Christmas Eve, reminiscing about happier times with Liz. Maxie appears, flirty and underdressed, and seduces Lucky into a slow dance that ends in a midnight kiss. At the same time, Liz's car skids off-road in the storm, and she is knocked unconscious on a bed of rocks. And that was the end of 2006, so now we're into 2007. Liz is unconscious and dreams of a different scenario for her unborn child. In one, the baby is Lucky's, and they reconcile. In another, she walks into Kelly's with her baby and finds Maxie and Lucky together, this time with Lucky flaunting the affair. Jason finds her and rushes her to General Hospital. That's not part of the dream. He finds her. Maxie and Lucky kiss again at Kelly's. She apologizes, and he admits that while they might have worked under different circumstances, he still loves Liz. When Dr. Lee calls with the news of Liz's accident, Lucky leaves immediately, upsetting Maxie. At the hospital, Lucky and Jason stay by Liz's side. Lucky scolds her for lying about the baby's paternity. Jason doesn't defend her.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot. Suitcases, Tetris style.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
No going back this time. Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax, carpets.
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant. If things go to plan, it'll be smooth sailing.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
But when Liz wakes up, Lucky softens and comforts her. He didn't know.
I'm not sure who told them the paternity because that's not something that they should have been talking about.
But when Liz wakes up, Lucky softens and comforts her. After her release, Liz thanks Jason for saving her. I don't know how I missed all that. I mean, I feel like that's a very important part of, I'm sorry. Maybe it was just like something was said off the cuff, and it wasn't, because we know the future of this story. And I feel like Lucky is definitely under the impression that he is the dad.
Right.
At the hospital, Lucky and Jason stay by Liz's side. When she wakes up, Lucky softens and comforts her. He was, upset that Jason was there. After her release, Liz thanks Jason for saving her. At Kelly's, Georgie catches Liz spying on Maxie and Lucky. Inside, Maxie is still playing the grieving act, trying to bond with Lucky over a stray puppy. She manipulates him into helping her take care of it. Liz, watching from outside, notes how much Maxie talks about her, quote, miscarriage, and later casually asks Dr. Lee if Maxie could have faked her pregnancy, planting the seed for what's to come. Later, Lucky brings it up Later, Lucky brings up the dog to Liz at the hospital, suggesting that maybe Audrey would want to adopt it. The moment is brief, but it underscores Lucky and Maxie's growing closeness. I don't know. If you and I found a dog on a stray dog and we tried to find someone else to adopt it, I don't feel like that makes us closer.
No.
Liz, increasingly suspicious of Maxie, confides in Epiphany that she believes Maxie faked her pregnancy and miscarried to manipulate Lucky. Epiphany advises Liz to get proof before confronting her. Meanwhile, Maxie has an emotional talk with Mac at the park, expressing her insecurities and comparing herself to her sister Georgie and cousin Robin. Mac reassures her, but it's clear Maxie is clinging to her connection with Lucky. Later, Maxie tries to deepen that bond by staging a fall at the hospital to gain Lucky's sympathy, which only raises Liz's suspicions. Sam, after spending the night with Jason, arrives late for her first day at General Hospital. When she's pressed for an excuse, she shocks everyone, including Liz and Lucky, by blurting out that she was late because she and Jason were trying to conceive. Lucky jokes about the idea of their children growing up as friends, but Liz hides her discomfort, still reeling from the idea of Jason being with someone else while carrying his child.
Talk about that foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Carly, in her usual meddling fashion, confronts both Jason and Liz. She demands Jason tell Sonny to stop manipulating her and then accuses Liz of having ulterior motives. During a confrontation at the hospital, Liz reveals that Jason once offered to marry her when he believed her baby was his. Sam overhears and is shaken. Later, Liz goes to Jason to thank him for saving her life and nearly confesses the truth about her baby's paternity, but hides when Lucky unexpectedly arrives. She changes her mind and leaves without telling Jason the truth, forgetting her scarf in the process. Sam finds Liz's scarf at the penthouse and, overcome with jealousy, confronts Liz at the hospital. A heated argument erupts, drawing attention from Miss Sneed and Epiphany. Epiphany defends Liz and reminds Sam of the risk Liz took for her. Still upset, Sam quits her job and later smashes a glass in frustration. Jason apologizes to Liz, who admits Sam may be right about her spending too much time with him. Liz eventually gets confirmation that Maxie lied. Blood test results reveal Maxie was never pregnant. Epiphany is furious, but Liz delays exposing Maxie to spare Lucky further pain. Maxie later admits the truth to Lucky, who is devastated, and calls the relationship the biggest mistake of his life. Liz confronts him and finally tells Epiphany she's done protecting Maxie. Liz considers telling Jason the truth about the baby, but hesitates, fearing the impact on Lucky, who is still recovering and vulnerable to relapse. Though Lucky claims he's clean after a drug bust, he secretly pockets pills. Liz agrees to have dinner with him, but later confides in Jason at the coffee house, expressing her gratitude and emotional connection. She begins to open up, but loses her nerve when Jason mentions trusting Sam. Maxie, preparing for a job interview, stops at the hospital and clashes with Epiphany, who warns her to stay away unless scheduled, especially to avoid further drama with Liz. Maxie snaps that Liz isn't as perfect as everyone thinks. Later at the Metro Court, Maxie flirts with Detective Rodriguez in front of Lucky, who tells her to back off. Georgie scolds Maxie for self-destructive behavior, but Maxie insists she's chasing anything that reminds her of Jesse. Jason and Liz talk again in the park. She speaks cryptically about secrets and doing what's best for her unborn child, suggesting Jason may be the father. Jason is confused, but Liz can't bring herself to tell him the truth. She heads to dinner with Lucky, running into Rodriguez, who encourages her to give Lucky a chance for his sobriety and stability. Liz feels the pressure. At the Metro Court, Lucky has arranged a romantic dinner with help from Sam. Why is Sam trying to push them together? Like, that's really going to keep her away from Jason? Like, come on.
I mean, she's trying to do the most that she can do, I guess.
No, just stop. He confides in her about wanting to make things right and propose to Liz with a ring. Because it's perfect timing for all that after everything. Lulu, learning of the proposal, worries Liz isn't ready, especially since she just filed divorce papers, but wishes her brother luck. At dinner, Lucky expresses hope for the future as a family, wanting to be there for Liz, Cameron, and the baby. Liz listens quietly, unsure how to respond. Afterwards, at Spencer's checkup, Lucky, Liz, Lulu, and others gather at the hospital, then return to Windermere to celebrate. Emily is thrilled to hear Lucky proposed, but Liz is clearly unsettled. Emily later asks if she still loves Lucky, and Liz confesses she's unsure. She admits to imagining a life with Jason and wonders if things might have been different. Emily gently challenges her to consider why she and Jason never worked in the past. Good thinking. Meanwhile, Lucky confides in Nicholas that he took pills but hasn't used them. Nicholas advises patience and reminds him that trust with Liz will take time. Lucky insists Liz completes him and everything he's doing is for her. As the Metro Court benefit begins, Bobby invites everyone to attend. Liz and Lucky arrive together, with Maxie bitterly helping Liz find a maternity dress beforehand. Inside, tensions build. Liz confides to Emily that everyone is pushing her to reunite with Lucky, but part of her still wants to be alone. Emily asks if Jason is truly the one Liz wants. Liz reflects but doesn't have an answer. Jason and Liz meet again on the bridge. She tells him she's overwhelmed by expectations and feels like she's being pulled in too many directions. Jason urges her to stop thinking about everyone else and focus on what she truly wants. He offers to help if she needs him. Lucky later visits Luke, who has returned to town. They talk about Laura still in her catatonic state, and Lucky updates him on the pregnancy and Maxie's lies. Luke criticizes Lucky for ever getting involved with Maxie, and Lucky agrees. During the benefit, Mr. Craig and his team take the Metro Court hostage. Liz attempts to call for help, but Craig's men stop her and rough her up. Emily protests, warning that Liz is pregnant. Maxie snidely tells Liz not to endanger Lucky's baby. Carly confronts Craig, trying to assert control as hotel co-owner, but he forces everyone to surrender their phones and valuables. Outside, Max sends Lucky and Rodriguez into the hotel to evacuate as many guests as possible. Chaos follows as people flee. Luke wants to help, but Lucky urges him to stay out of it, warning Lulu can't afford to lose both parents. Luke disagrees, determined to act, especially for Liz and the baby. Inside, Liz and Emily tend to a severely wounded Robin. Craig drags Liz away and locks her in a room where she finds Alan suffering from a heart attack. She tends to him until Emily is brought in. Craig then removes Liz again and returns her to the lobby, placing her beside Sam. Sam discreetly reveals there's a cell phone hidden in a drawer, and the two plot to retrieve it. Craig notices their whispering exchange. He grabs Sam, who resists and rips off his mask. Enraged, Craig warns she shouldn't have done that as the situation grows increasingly dangerous. Tensions deepen for Elizabeth, who is not only trapped inside, but also dealing with the strain of early contractions and the burden of a secret. She was carrying Jason's child. Despite her fear and physical discomfort, Liz took charge in tending to the wounded Robin with help from Sam. Their uneasy alliance became more personal when Sam, grieving her own infertility, quietly admits her jealousy of Liz's pregnancy, but also expresses genuine concern for her and her unborn baby.
Outside the hotel, do you know how difficult it was to summarize the hostage situation in like one page?
Right, exactly. Because you don't need to talk about people, but they are absolutely important to like the life stories. So you can't leave that out.
And seeing, Jason trying to save and like Lucky trying to get in. It was so difficult. So outside the hotel, Lucky grew increasingly frustrated as he was sidelined by Rick and forced to watch from the perimeter. When Luke arrived in SWAT gear, determined to rescue Lulu, he warned Lucky to stand down. Rick ordered Luke's arrest, but Lucky handed off the task to another officer, unwilling to betray his father. Still struggling to prove himself to the force, to Luke, and to Liz, Lucky was desperate to take action, but was kept on the sidelines, watching helplessly as the crisis unfolded. Inside, Jason infiltrated the hotel through air ducts, disguised in a mercenary's uniform. Spinelli had insisted on coming along and now worked from a back room, tracking security feeds and coordinating with Jason. When Spinelli mentioned that Liz, who was pregnant, was among the hostages, Jason was visibly shaken. Spinelli speculated about Jason's rescue priorities, knowing Sam was the love of Jason's life, but Liz and her unborn child complicated everything. Liz's condition worsened as dehydration caused intense cramping. Lulu stayed by her side, trying to offer comfort while keeping a low profile under Craig's watch. When Mr. Craig denied Liz water, Sam stood up to him, risking her life to insist that Liz receive basic care. Her defiance, paired with a distraction from Max, ultimately earned Liz the water she needed, but the threat remained ever present. Elsewhere in the hotel, Alan's condition deteriorated, prompting Craig to force Emily to make an impossible choice between saving her father or Liz. Though Liz tried to downplay her condition, Emily was torn. Alan urged her to save Liz and the baby, but Emily hesitated.
The future is unpredictable at times, but the Open University are the experts in online learning, allowing you to fit study around your life. What's more, you'll have support from dedicated tutors every step of the way. Now, suddenly your possibilities are open. Register by the 11th of September to get started. The Open University. The future is open.
Trying to assess as a doctor, not a daughter, Craig relished the agony of the decision until another outburst led him to shoot Max instead, escalating the violence. Spoiler alert, Max was okay. Feel like that's important to note.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Maxie, trapped in the vault with a mercenary, confided in him about her life, her family, and her failed attempts to win Lucky's love, a man she now realized would do anything to save Liz. As Jason continued maneuvering through the hotel in disguise, he stayed close to Liz and Sam, whispering instructions whenever it was safe. He asked Sam to prepare an escape and warn the police, but Mr. Craig interrupted them, furious about their whispering. He warned that demerit points would lead to death, and Sam was dangerously close to that limit. Jason was reassigned to guard Spinelli and Lulu as they worked to access the vault, a task Jason warned needed to happen soon if they were to escape, before Craig's plan exploded, literally and figuratively. Jason later witnessed Father Mateo kill a mercenary to protect Max, and the brutality of the moment shocked him. I mean, if your violence shocks Jason, you know it's bad.
Right.
But with time running out and Robin's condition deteriorating, escape had to come first. Liz continued to suffer quietly, comforting Sam and reminiscing about her son Cameron, even as the threat of preterm labor loomed. When an explosion shook the building, Liz and one of the masked men were thrown into an elevator. Disoriented and afraid, Liz was relieved to discover it was Jason. In the brief moment alone, the tension between them softened. Jason expressed guilt for not doing more to protect her, while Liz admitted that she had never intended to burden him with the truth, but couldn't imagine facing this ordeal alone. Outside, as Alan was released from the building, he collapsed. Luke and Lucky broke cover to help, dodging sniper fire as they rushed to get Alan to safety. It was one of the few chances Lucky had to take meaningful action during the crisis, and he seized it.
Poor Alan.
I know.
In the aftermath of the hostage situation, Lucky is focused on finding his wife, Liz, and ensuring her safety. Amid the rubble, he helps rescue Emily while Maxie and Tree? Who was that?
Remember they all had names?
Oh,
Remember they didn't have names?
Okay,
It was like...
Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of like actual people, and I'm like, who is this? Is this misspelled? What is this trying to say?
No, he didn't give them names. He referred to them by their number.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Because my brain was really like, oh my gosh.
Nope, that's okay. I thought I had... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I seriously was like, is that supposed to say Theo? Who is that? Like, what word or what name is that misspelled? Anyway. Again, amid the rubble, he helped rescue Emily, while Maxie and 3 were also freed. Maxie convinces 3 to remove his disguise and claim to be a hostage. Outside, Sam and Alexis try to hold Nicholas back from searching for Emily, but she is soon found and reunited with him. Meanwhile, Jason and Liz are trapped in an elevator. Liz feels the baby kick and tells Jason that he is the father, not Lucky. She explains that at the time, both Sonny and Carly assumed the baby was Lucky's, and she was pressured into not telling Jason the truth. Jason, though hurt by the secrecy, understood her reasoning. Lucky, in a desperate search for Liz, confronts Mr. Craig on the docks, where Craig manipulates him by claiming he stepped over Liz's body when he escaped the hotel. The news sends Lucky into a reckless spiral, but his partner Rodriguez intervenes before Lucky is shot. Eventually, word spreads that Liz is alive, and Lucky rushes to the hospital, where he finds her and the baby are fine, though Liz is sent for more tests. Jason arrives at the hospital with Sam and is told by Monica that Alan is still weak. Sam, after her medical exam, reveals that she cannot have children due to the effects of a past shooting, a revelation that leaves Jason feeling guilty but unable to confess the truth about Liz's baby. Meanwhile, Liz wrestles with her own secrets, unsure whether to tell Lucky the truth about the baby's paternity, but ultimately she cannot. At the same time, she struggles with the idea of letting Jason be a part of the baby's life while still trying to protect Lucky from the painful truth. After a difficult conversation in the hospital, Liz is determined to move forward with Lucky. The emotional support he has given her in the past, especially during her darkest times, cannot be overlooked. She remembers the man who stood by her side when she needed him most and believes that with time and healing, they can find their way back to each other. Liz tells Lucky that she wants to rebuild their life together. She admits that she's afraid of the future, but is ready to move forward, provided they can truly forgive each other. Lucky, let's truly forgive each other, but I have this huge secret that I'm not telling you. Okay.
Right.
Lucky recognizes the deep love he still has for Liz and their baby, agrees to put in the work. He apologizes for his past actions, including his neglect of their relationship and his struggle with addiction, and assures Liz that he is committed to being the man she and their child deserves. This moment of vulnerability brings them closer than they've been in a long time, allowing them to rediscover the foundation of their love. The conversation shifts towards their future. Liz expresses her desire to marry again, but not out of pity or fear of the unknown. She wants to marry him because she believes in their love and the family they are building together. Lucky is moved by her words, and after a long pause, he tells her that he feels the same way. He admits that he's afraid of making the same mistakes again, but promises to try harder to be the man she deserves. The next day, Lucky and Liz share the news with their families. Luke, though skeptical at first, sees the genuine change in his son and supports his decision to marry Liz again. Lulu, always the romantic, is thrilled and excited about the prospect of her parents rebuilding their life together. Meanwhile, Liz has a difficult conversation with Jason in which she tells him that despite their past, she has fallen back in love with Lucky and is going to marry him. Jason is heartbroken, knowing that the baby he's always wanted is not his, but at the same time, he respects Liz's decision. He agrees to keep the secret of the baby's paternity for her sake, though the pain of not being able to raise his child with her is almost unbearable. Liz and Lucky's decision to remarry isn't without its challenges. The lingering secrets about the baby's paternity threaten to unravel everything they've worked through. But in this moment, they are united in their commitment to each other and their family. They plan a small, intimate wedding, one that is focused on their love and the promise of a new beginning. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, Liz and Lucky continue to work on their relationship, attending counseling sessions and focusing on rebuilding trust. Liz is determined to be honest with Lucky about everything, but she also understands that timing is crucial. She fears that revealing the truth about Jason being the father of her baby could destroy Lucky's emotional stability, something he's only just begun to regain. On the day of the wedding, Liz and Lucky exchange vows in a private ceremony surrounded by their closest family and friends. The love they share is palpable, and despite all the pain they've endured, it's clear that they are committed to building a future together. For Liz, the journey is far from over. While she has found peace with her decision to stay with Lucky, she knows there will always be the lingering questions of what could have been with Jason. But for now, she chooses the life she's built with Lucky, hoping that their love and commitment will be enough to weather whatever changes lie ahead.
Well, I don't know why it said Lulu, ever the romantic, was excited for her parents to remarry.
No. I think it didn't say remarry. It said for them to rebuild their life together. I think it just meant that Lulu, hearing that Lucky and Liz could work things out, gave her hope that her mom would recover and her dad and her would be back together.
Okay. That makes sense.
Those paragraphs were so ah, I remember thinking that's how life could be, and then it didn't. Then it didn't turn out that way.
And I understand, Liz, I love the fact that like they did counseling and therapy and all that. That's when you drop that bombshell.
Right, exactly. There is no good time. But if you're telling me that you're opening up and being honest about everything, you better really be opening up and be honest about everything.
And if you're worried about his sobriety, do it now in case he relapses. He has a chance to go back to rehab before the baby's born.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I wonder what's going to happen.
Don't know.
It's almost like we'd have to turn in for next week to find out. But on Monday, we get to recap this week's shows, and maybe, just maybe, Lucky and Liz will have taken another new step.
Yay. So have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax
I
covered.
meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.